The world of Runeterra might be one of the most fascinating and intricate fantasy settings in modern gaming. While League of Legends is commonly associated with its wildly popular competitive scene, Riot Games have been taking great strides in recent years to flesh out their world and the characters that reside within, even going so far as to reboot the entire story in 2015. While this push for a deeper narrative has been widely appreciated by the game's lore community, the results have been controversial at times. With a retconned world came the need to retcon characters. Riot has made a substantial effort in the last few years to reimagine the backstories of League's iconic champions to fit them into the new lore, but not every change has been met with positive feedback. Let's face it, no writer is perfect and hindsight is 2020, so a number of characters throughout the years have been left with less than stellar backstories compared to most of the roster. Still, it is my firm belief that criticism should always be supplemented with suggestions and feedback for improvement, which is what we're here to discuss today. Hello and welcome to Runeterra Rewrites, a series in which I'll be offering my own takes on League's most controversial stories and champions. My aim is simple, to propose alternative versions of these stories that better match the characters' themes and concepts, without needing to alter anything regarding their in-game designs or voice lines. With all that being said, please sit back, relax, and let us begin, shall we? It's often said that one man's trash is another man's treasure, but everyone's trash is Rumble's treasure. Dwelling in his own personal junkyard in Noshramé, Rumble spends his days collecting and tinkering with all manner of discarded items. Damaged pottery, rusted pipes, tattered clothes, and even broken weapons. Rumble sees the value in things mortals don't, finding new purpose in the junk that enters his extensive collection, and repurposing it into complex machinery of his own design. Ever since he was young, Rumble displayed a knack for tinkering. He was often creating new, bizarre contraptions from unorthodox materials that fell into Bandle from the mortal realm. Materials that most deemed utterly useless. Where most Yordles were outgoing and adventurous, Rumble spent his days cooped up indoors, tinkering away with his latest haul. It wasn't that Rumble disliked the company of others, mind you. Rather, he simply struggled to find like-minded individuals who saw the value in his creations. Some suggested that Rumble should apply for an apprenticeship with the great inventor Heimerdinger, but Rumble declined. Piltovan machinery was, in his mind, needlessly complex and far too grandiose. Nevertheless, Rumble was eventually convinced by his parents to enroll at the University of Piltover, where his talents would be put to better use. His enrollment didn't last long. Even with Yordle glamour concealing his true identity, Rumble quickly found himself ostracized by those around him. On his first day, Rumble got into a fight with a student who had thrown a failed prototype drone into the trash. And then another conflict arose days later when he saw someone discarding their worn book bag. Eventually, Rumble got fed up and left the college, heading south into the land of Shuriman in search of others who might better understand his mindset. It wasn't long until Rumble caught wind of Shurima's infamous tomb raiders, who scoured the sands for lost relics from the old empire. Immediately, Rumble was intrigued. Knowing that Yordles were generally more respected in Shuriman than Piltover, Rumble ingratiated himself into one such band of rogues, and soon found himself delving into Shurima's forgotten tombs and temples. Just as he'd hoped, these ancient locales were a treasure trove of long-forgotten artifacts, and Rumble soon began to build his own personal hoard in the thieves' caravan. Of course, his human companions were primarily focused on magical trinkets and golden monuments, but Rumble was far more intrigued by the remnants of Shuriman golems, and the mechanisms of traps that no longer functioned. For his assistance in navigating passages and crevices too small for an ordinary person, Rumble was allowed to keep these odd treasures as payment. Unbeknownst to Rumble, however, One of the magical trinkets found by the thieves was actually an ancient stone tablet that detailed where and how to open a bandlewood portal in the desert. As soon as his supposed comrades discovered this, they set out for the portal at once, intending to plunder the riches of the fabled Bandle city. Only when they arrived before the portal did Rumble realize his band's intentions, but it was far too late. He tried to warn them that they'd find no such riches in Bandle City, but Rumble's protests were ignored and he was effortlessly thrown to the side. Powerless, Rumble watched in horror as they tore open the portal with dark magic. Yet what greeted them was not treasure or power, but a mighty explosion. As the dust cleared, a lone Yordle emerged from the portal, wielding a cannon almost as large as herself. She introduced herself to the thieves as Tristana, protector of the Bandlewood, and Rumble found himself smitten immediately. Unfortunately, Rumble knew that his former comrades wouldn't be deterred so easily, and they were armed with magical relics taken from their many escapades. Rumble shook himself from his daze and returned to the band's caravan, where he began rummaging through his personal treasure hoard. From this seemingly random assortment of scrap, Rumble hastily constructed a semi-functional, manually operated combat mech to come to Tristana's aid, just as she found herself losing ground to the thieves. Together, Rumble and Tristana narrowly drove the thieves off, albeit with the former's creation destroyed in the process. Regardless, Tristana praised Rumble's craftsmanship, something no one had ever done before, and thanked him for his assistance before venturing back through the portal. In that moment, Rumble silently swore to rebuild his treasure hoard and win Tristana's heart by building even better machines to aid in Bandle's defense. After some time, Rumble established his own private workshop in front of a portal in Nashra May, gathering a vast collection of junk from all across Runeterra to obscure it. From this treasure trove, Rumble constructs all manner of personalized weapons for the Bandle gunners, hoping that his craftsmanship will one day capture Tristana's heart as she captured his. Until that day, however, Rumble continues to spend his time tinkering with and improving upon his new and improved combat mech, Tristy, to assist in his personal treasure hunts across the world.